Now, this ongoing water crisis has sparked numerous protests in the islands with roughly the same call, shutting down the Red Hill fuel facility. And the communities won that fight. So joining us right now live is David Henkin with the environmental group Earthjustice. David, so good to be talking with you this afternoon.
Wonderful to be here. Really appreciate it.
And of course, David, big news. And as we were just talking with Hawaii U.S. Congressman Ed Case, he echoed the sentiments as this is a big win for Hawaii. And I want to hear your reaction. The state of Hawaii took on the military and we won. What does this say?
Well, I mean, anyone who's been living through this crisis here on Oahu knows that every morning when you turn on the tap, you don't know if it's going to smell like petroleum, if it's going to smell like a gas station, like tens of thousands of people experience around Thanksgiving. So we've been living through this nightmare. We also know that we're looking at possible water shortages this summer. So, this has been very real for us. We're pleased that the Department of Defense has finally woken up to the reality that we've all been living with, which is that the Red Hill facility has got to go. And while I don't want to put a damper on any of the celebrations, we certainly welcome the announcement. But, talk is one thing, action is another. And we're hopeful that the Department of Defense will follow through here. There's a few things that are really important to bear in mind. First of all, the Department of Defense still has 2 court actions where it's challenging the authority of the Department of Health to shut down the facility. It's got to drop those. It has a permit proceeding where it's asking to renew the permit for the facility. It needs to drop that. It needs to not only clean up the Red Hill spill, but it needs to reimburse our public schools, the Board of Water Supply, which has incurred incredible expense to respond to the Navy's mismanagement of the Red Hill facility. And the other thing is, the Navy's and Department of Defense are now saying, well, we hope to shut the facility by May of next year. Mm-hmm. And while that's certainly welcome, you need to realize that the Navy's own risk assessment says every year that this facility is open, we have nearly a 30% risk of another catastrophic spill of the type that poisoned our water supply last November. So they need to do this as quickly as possible. They need to stop fighting the Department of Health over this, stop fighting the Board of Water Supply, and it's time to shut down that facility.
David, I did want to get in this question before we let you go this afternoon. You did mention that timeline, and it's an ambitious timeline to shut down and defuel that facility. But when it comes to Red Hill, and it's used strategically to power military operations here in the Pacific and in the Indo-Pacific, are there better solutions to strategic fueling? The Governor David Ige said there are better strategic fueling solutions are better ones. But from an environmentalist point of view, are there? What would they be?
Well, of course, any solution that we move forward to in the future has to be protective of all of the communities that might be affected. But I think one of the things to really highlight here is that for literally years, the Department of Defense and the Navy have been saying that Red Hill is irreplaceable. It's vital for national security. And this morning, Secretary of Defense made it very clear that this is an antiquated facility. It is outmoded, and that there are much better ways to get it done. So you really need to take with a healthy dollop of salt anytime the military says that the things it's been doing for decades that are environmentally destructive absolutely have to be done to protect the nation. There are better ways to do this, and we're glad that finally the Department of Defense is waking up to that reality.
And David, of course, your fight stems well before the December and the November crisis. So we really do. We certainly appreciate your time this afternoon. A big win for environmentalists, for leaders across Hawaii, and for the state of Hawaii. David Henkin with the environmental group Earthjustice. Thank you so much.